Hi there. I think I finally got this working. Okay, I'm going to pick up where we started off last week and give you a little update here. Um, Last week we were talking about color, and I want to go a little bit into pressure and value. So um, let me just flip this over for a second. We've talked about, how hard you're pressing down. If you were to press down as lightly as you humanly can with barely making anything, to over here, I'm going to go as hard as I possibly can and fill in solidly. And then medium. Sometimes for the medium pressure, I might start a little light and build up to what I think is about halfway between here and here. Same with this. I might start with a medium pressure that looks like this and then go a little bit harder till it gets to be very 50% between my medium gray and the black. Now here I'm going to start with the as light as humanly possible and find a 50% in between. And just so you can see it, I'm going to add a little bit to that. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a box here for white because that's the white of the paper. Now here I've made a little value scale. That's what it's called. But also for colored pencils, you want to know what kind of pressure I'm talking about. So I would practice this, and you can do it in all the colors too. Light to as dark and as solid as that color will go. And then medium, and so on, so that you could get a value scale in any color. Now, don't be fooled with, oops, I did this. I want to go lighter. So I'm going to add white, because very often white will sometimes it'll deepen the color, but it'll also sometimes change the color slightly. So it isn't a way to lighten. To me, adding the white is sometimes a way to hold that color, or if I need to change it or to smooth. I want to keep it there, but I want to smooth out all those pencil lines. And then I'll use a very heavy, what they call burnishing pressure. It'll be a pressure like this with my white. And I'm sort of holding that in place, but making it smooth. I also have this little thing that I grabbed on Amazon or Blick or somewhere when I was ordering things once. And it has a value scale. I don't like that it's not in a straight line, but it's called a grayscale value finder. So that when I'm looking at, oh, this black, that's my darkest value. But I'm on the cup and I'm trying to figure out how much pressure should I put? Where is it? Is it kind of in the lighter range and I should be pressing a little bit lighter? You can also use our famous little hole punch one, which allows you to test out the color. I would want to have one in white if I'm working on white paper. This one was for the bunny. So I can test out the color and see if I'm matching pressure and color. Did you see how that white did just sort of change the color a bit, but not always necessarily lightening it? You really want to do the light and dark by pressure. Okay, so back to our lovely kumquats here that we're doing from Ekaterina's tutorial. I have covered this cup with the light blue, and the next step is to darken it into the tin cup. I'm not really going to address the water droplets right now. I just want to get there with the depth of color. Now, before you just go add black and darken it, please remember on our color wheel, what was across from what? These are your complementary colors: blue, orange, purple, yellow, red, green. This is going to come into play a little bit here because what you want to do when you create sort of metal or even rusty or like these reflections down in here is before I just go to black, I may want to create purple, purplish. Oops, I grabbed another blue. Sorry. So I'm going to do the red over the blue to create this kind of purpley. And now what is the complementary color of purple? It's yellow. So if I want, it's not that I'm going to create a brown, but I just want to bring that purple down from being so purpley into a more neutral color. And you can see when I stray a little bit, I can get a little greenish because I'm getting in the blue. Hey, what's the complementary color of greenish? Red. So I can bring that back down with the red. So we're making what's called a neutral color. And if you notice, I'm using a fairly light pressure on all of this just to build up layers. The other thing it does is it gives this a little bit of a rough texture that mimics that cup. Then, yes, at some point, black to darken. But now I'm really just adding that that layer over just to darken that neutral brownish color that we've created with the using the many colors. So that's how you should approach this cup. There is quite a bit of dark on this side, so you want to go over that with quite a bit of different layers. If you feel like your gray is not getting that warm shady color like you're really seeing in the picture, well then come back into it with the colors that you're seeing. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes I'm feeling a little red, sometimes there's a little reflected light over here and maybe I just want to lighten it up. Test out what happens when you add white on a practice sheet. Now the next thing I want to address is we left off and we did not talk about this wood area that is very marbly, and I've laid a little bit of it in. I would put in first, I'll put in the blue, where the blue goes. And I didn't do the leaf, but creating a green should be pretty self-explanatory. And some of these blues look very, very light, so use a light pressure. To my eye, it almost seems as though another color was being used. But follow the patterns, go along, add your red in between, because this is a very pinkish sort of orangey for the wood to begin with. There are even areas where I see purple. So in the purple areas, I'm going to come back and extend my blue into those areas. And then other areas, they seem very pinky orange. So there's purple, there's blue, and there's orangey. Now again, before you go darken it, let's neutralize with the opposing color. So in this big blue area where it is going to become very dark, before I'm going to take it to the next level and just darken it with black, I am going to say that orange on the color wheel is the complementary color of blue, so that means I must add both red and yellow to bring it into the brown family. And if you notice, I'm keeping my strokes always going with the wood grain. And I do this before coming in with the black and adding what will really be sort of a light to medium pressure layer of black. And again, if that black isn't making it seem like the right brownish shade that's in this, then I'm going to have to come back with the blue. Excuse me for my shaky hands that went out of the line. That's what erasers are for. And come back with that so that it looks like a shadow that has color in it. We want warm shadows. We want cool shadows. We want all those different colors. Now on the wood grain itself, we've made an orangey color. So the complementary color of orange is blue. I'm going to bring some blue into that. And if you see, it's creating kind of a brownish, warm color into which you can probably draw some deeper lines so that you have the wood grain. But if that's too yellowy, then what do you want to bring in? Purple. So that's blue and a little red. It's too orangey, I add blue. Too purpley, I add yellow. Too green, I add red. So keep your color wheel in front of you so that you can do this and create believable wood textures before you just feel like, oh, I've just got to go in and put black in and darken. You may find I'm going to add blue to darken. I'm going to add red to darken. I'm even going to add a little bit of yellow to darken because darkening is just more pressure. The color black is, as I said before, in the blue family, so we may need the red and yellow to counteract the black. Or maybe you want it to be cool, so you want your black to have a lot of purple in it, so you put your red and blue in. But you can build it up to a brownish wood color. And then at the end, when you feel like I want it to stick in that area, you can burnish over it with your white. That does also help to get rid of some of the spottiness that was okay on the tin cup, but maybe down here on the wood, we want some of that to go away. Okay, good luck. Keep on coloring, and I will see you Sunday.